Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Next Team Formula One. And this is episode 4. It should be 5, but we didn't have an episode last week because we were quite busy with putting out a lot of other content, especially on our cricket side. Yash here will know that. But we're back here. We are joining you guys after the French GP as well as the most recent one, the Styrian GP. And we have some great thoughts and great content coming up for you. And by we, of course, I'm talking about myself. I'm your host, Tarun. And joining me, we have Yash. And we also have BK, who is coming back after a pretty long
hiatus.
Pretty long hiatus, yes.
Good to have you back, BK.
Yep,
thank
it's
you.
good to have you back. So how are we feeling, guys? Two weekends of racing down since our last episode.
Yep.
How are we feeling?
And we still have one more this weekend. Triple header.
Yes, that's right, triple header. The final leg of the triple header coming up. So, we do have quite a bit of content to cover. So before we jump into our episode, just like to say, we really appreciate all your support. And, if you're listening to this, if you haven't done so already, please do subscribe to us on YouTube. Please do follow our Spotify page. We are on both these places as the Next Team Podcast. It's going to really help us out. And you can also find all our links in our Instagram bio at the Next Team SG. So do follow us there as well. So, without any further ado, I want to get right into our episode. And I want to start by talking about the French Grand Prix, which was obviously 2 weekends ago. And I just want to start off with that, just give our quick thoughts before we move on to the Styrian Grand Prix. So let me get the ball rolling with France. And so for me, really, obviously it was a disappointing race, as was Styrian GP, because it's just not a good weekend for Mercedes all around.
Say it.
Even though...
Say Hamilton didn't win.
Yes, Hamilton didn't win. 2 wins for Max, obviously, helping him pull out even further in the lead for the World Drivers' Championship. And, talking about the French GP, I think the race wasn't truly won until Red Bull's second pit stop, Max's second pit stop, which was, I think it just caught literally everyone unaware because nobody expected any driver to go only 14 laps in on a hard stint. And once he got that undercut, it was just, I think it was nothing that Mercedes could do. There was no right answer for Mercedes. Because
it was the exact same thing which happened to Red Bull in Barcelona, Mercedes did. Exactly. Red Bull did it back to Mercedes.
Mm-hmm. I think this was maybe even more unexpected, I would say, because of that, just how short that hard stint was for Max.
Yep.
So, even after the first pit stop, maybe there was a chance of Mercedes pulling the undercut back on Red Bull, on Max, but after that second stop, it was just sitting ducks. There's nothing else they could have done. What do you guys think?
Yash, go first. I'm a bit I'm still a bit clueless about the whole race itself because I didn't watch the race. I came back and I watched the highlights. So turns out I missed a very, very good race. Surprisingly,
you don't say that often for France.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the reason why I didn't really watch it, right? I had something else to do, so I went outside. I came back, watched the highlights. Turns out Max overtook Lewis on lap 52. Was it 52 or 53?
Yeah,
one of the last few laps.
Second last lap, I think. And I was kicking myself basically. But if you want to talk more about the race, I think Yash is better.
It was a pretty fun race, I would say. A lot of things happening. Not just at the front, but at the back as well. There were quite a few battles going on. I can't exactly remember now because it's been quite a while since the French GP, but it was quite entertaining because especially at the front, the strategy was always the thing which kept us on our toes. Especially at the start, Max made a mistake, and I think Lewis, did he overtake him? I think he did, right?
Yeah,
he was in the lead for a moment.
Max went wide at turn 1.
Yeah, turn 1. Yeah, so he was in the lead for quite some time, and then Red Bull just had a really brilliant strategy which got them ahead. And like you said just now, it wasn't expected. So it kept us on our toes because Max had 23 seconds to catch up back to Lewis, and he did it. And in the second last lap, it was very good to see that Red Bull actually do have a really good car this year. who can fight for the world championship.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it, since Monaco, Azerbaijan, arguably Max probably should have won as well, if not for the tire failure.
Yeah.
And he won now this next 2 races as well. So I think the momentum is purely in Red Bull's shift right now.
Yeah. Am I right in also saying, because they lost the race in Barcelona because of I would say, I won't say a lack of strategy, but because they had a poorer strategy than Mercedes. But it seems like, I think they are learning from their mistakes, and now they've capitalized on Mercedes' mistake in the strategy department, and now they've won the race. So I think that's a very, very important thing as well for if you want to win the championship, especially against a team like Mercedes. You need to learn from your mistakes, and I'm glad that Red Bull are doing that. Things are looking very, very good for Red Bull and Verstappen. I think the team is adapting, which is something that you can't really say about Red Bull. They prefer to fight things than actually adapt to change. Like, they prefer to fight it. I hope I'm making sense, but yeah, that's my personal opinion.
But I would also like to add just one thing to what BK said. But at the same time, I feel sometimes the strategy is kind of induced by the situation. Because if I'm not wrong, what happened in France was that when Max took his pit stop, he was pretty much sure that Max would undercut, Lewis if Lewis pitted as well the immediate next lap. So I guess in that situation, Mercedes thought that maybe track position was more vital, and they just hoped that maybe Max tires towards the end would die off. But unfortunately, we know the beast Max is the lion. He's a different animal. So I guess similar thing happened to Red Bull in Barcelona as well. They thought probably Lewis, because if Lewis undercut Max, he would probably be ahead. So they rather just keep track position. But I mean, sometimes you gain, sometimes you lose, and I think lately Red Bull have been gaining a lot than Mercedes for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So do we have any more final thoughts for France?
No.
Well, I would just say good. Well, not good. I was going to say well done Baku, but I couldn't find a very good wording for it. I guess well done France.
Yeah,
it was decent. Yeah,
not
it was
bad,
decent.
France. Not bad.
Yeah, not bad. Yeah, not bad. I think that's a better way to put it.
Not as bad as we thought it would be.
Actually, I do have one opinion about France, which I've recently realized is very, very unpopular. I actually think the blue and red stripes look good.
Same.
They're pretty decent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that way as well.
I'm not complimenting the circuit itself by any means, but I think it looks really nice visually.
Yeah.
It makes some really nice photos.
I just, every time I look at it, I just feel like I kind of feel at ease, because the runoff areas are massive, right? So I don't know why it puts me at ease. It's a very, very weird thing, but yeah, that's what
I mean, the likelihood for you to really crash and have a massive crash is quite small.
Yeah.
Exactly.
A huge runoff.
10th F1 race in all of history that was the French GP without a DNF.
Oh, wow.
Pretty interesting stat.
Wow, that's crazy, honestly. Oh my god. That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah, I mean that's France for you, lah.
Yeah.
So well, if there's nothing else for France, I would like to move on to the most recent race, the Styrian GP, which was slightly less than 24 hours ago, lah, at the time of this being recorded. So still pretty fresh in our minds. And again, I want to start off with Red Bull versus Mercedes, because I can just start off from the top of the grid and we can just work our way down from there. So this race for me, it was like the definitive race that just said, Red Bull have the faster car this year.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I've said it since a lot of races ago, but I think you guys had to agree, right, at this point?
Yeah, definitely.
Even you guys would agree now that they've done a better job.
Yeah,
definitely. I mean, the thing is that we are so used to seeing Red Bull on the back foot and then catch up towards the end of the season, and then when the season starts, they fall off the cliff again. It's like that same kind of trajectory for the past few years. But this season, I don't know what it is about them, but they just seem to turn up like a different animal, and they've completely changed the whole dynamics of the team, with even Checo coming in. And Checo doing a very good job as well. This is what 8 races in, and he's pretty much up there. Obviously not on terms of pace with Max, but at least in terms of fighting with Bottas, as we saw. There was a very interesting last few laps between Bottas and Checo. Red Bull really have stepped up, and definitely they have the faster car. Because at the end of the day, you look at the last race. Even after Lewis doing that extra pit stop for fastest lap, he had Max had about 12, 13 seconds of lead.
Yeah.
And he was just gaining every few laps. So definitely, Red Bull have done a really good job this year.
Yeah. The thing about Checo was, I think it was he was behind Bottas by about 7.5 seconds, close to 8 seconds, and within a space of about 2 laps, he got to within DRS range. So it was about 0.9, 0.8. That was crazy, honestly. As I was watching it, I don't know why, but I've almost never seen a car like close up the gap that quickly. Like 8 seconds in one lap is actually quite crazy. I don't remember the last time I saw something like that.
Actually, if you look at the back of the grid yesterday, you would have seen Latifi do that on Mazepin. Because I think he closed up about 20 plus second gap in about 7-8 laps.
Wow. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I don't pay that much. I don't pay enough attention to the back of the grid. It seems. But
it's normally not something I look at intently, but I was just looking at it, and the numbers just kept dropping so much every single lap, and I was like, "Wow, this guy is not bad." I mean, he's still definitely not a good result for Williams at any rate, but it was good catch up from him.
Yeah.
Knowing Latifi, I'm surprised he didn't spin out or something. But
well, actually, George had a really good chance of winning the points.
Oh my god, I feel so
He's just unlucky.
I feel so bad for George Russell, man. He still doesn't have a point in Formula 1.
For Williams.
Yeah.
For Williams,
For Williams, yeah. But it's insane how his Saturday performances are so good, and he's like consistently getting into Q2, and every time he starts so well. He does a few overtakes. He always gets himself up to 7th or 8th, and then something bad happens. It's almost like someone is writing a script at this point. I feel so bad for him. He was actually supposed to get into Q3, but he missed out by 8,000
of a second.
I think George is really knocking on Toto Wolff's door for that second Mercedes seat. I genuinely feel that. And we talked about this in a previous podcast as well. George wants his future resolved by the time we get to Spa, I believe, after the summer break, 3 weeks break. So we shall see some really good transfer activity very soon, in fact, because we are almost reaching that summer period.
And I think I said in the first episode also, I think there's a lot more chance for Russell to replace Bottas in Mercedes, and I really I want to see it happen, because
we all want to see it happen.
We've seen what he can do in a Mercedes, and I'm so excited.
That doesn't fit him, right?
Yeah, and I'm just so excited to see what he can do, given the right equipment. I really think he could, because Hamilton at the start of his career, what was it? His first 3 races were 3 podiums, if I remember correctly, and I really think George can pull off something like that as well. I think it'll be amazing to see.
Yeah, I mean, most of the great drivers, like these young drivers, are in pretty good machinery. We have, who else we have? We have Leclerc, Max, obviously. Then we have Charles. I said Charles 2 times now. I just realized.
Lando.
Yeah, so all of these, young kids from, who pretty much race together throughout have good machineries, except George. So I believe it's time for George to have a good machinery so that he can compete, a lot more ahead in the grid. And I genuinely feel he deserves that Mercedes seat for the amount of work he's doing in that Williams. In fact, it's just extraordinary. I mean, he's just so unlucky that he's not getting the results which he wants. But we all know that he has the pace, and if he's just a little unlucky, then we all know what he can do.
Yeah.
But I mean, speaking of replacing Valtteri, I just want to point out, I think Valtteri had a really good weekend. Arguably, he had a better weekend than his teammate.
Okay. I'm
I feel.
surprised. Didn't he like drift in the pit lane and get himself a
Yes, I mean,
three?
yeah, that was a,
Yeah.
a three-place penalty.
Yeah,
But you know,
three-place
that
penalty.
one incident aside, you know, he did have the better qualifying, and you know, he had really good pace in during the race as well.
Yeah.
And I think he did well to keep Checo off the podium as well.
Mhm.
Like, you know, you were talking about how close Checo got in the
Yeah.
last few laps. It's under a second behind.
Yeah.
And you know that was good driving from Valtteri. So props to him. But do you guys think it's like, you know, too little, too late for him to keep his seat now?
Yeah, I think so. But like I said in the first episode, I really don't think I don't think he wants to stay in Mercedes. I mean we went over it, right? He's only won 9 races, and he's
9
constantly
races.
being looked over in terms of strategy, and I think he's sick and tired of it. And honestly speaking, if you take a look at all the races this season, you can see that this Valtteri Bottas is drastically different from the 3 seasons, his initial 3 seasons at Mercedes. Whereas in the initial 3 seasons, he was like a proper professional. He never complained about anything, and we really saw his frustration in the French GP over the radio when he openly criticized the team for not heeding his advice that it's a two-stopper. Yeah.
The two-stopper, yeah.
Yeah. So I think he's more or less done, and I think he's sick and tired. And unless I don't really see him staying unless there's like a massive pay increase for him or something like that. I mean,
well, if you think about it realistically, without without Mercedes, Bottas would probably not get a World Drivers' Championship, like to fight for at least. Like
yeah,
he will totally lose that chance. Yes. So I mean, you could say maybe he does not want to stay. I mean, that's debatable. But I think from a personal like career standpoint, I think you would want to stay in Mercedes for as long as you know they kick you out.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
But I feel that the time has come to sort of kick him out. I mean, I'm not disregarding Bottas as a driver. He's a great driver. He has good pace and quality. But I feel for that second seat at Mercedes, I think there is time for a change because we have seen like with Red Bull, the amount of grip, like you need 2 good drivers. And even though if you have 1 good driver and 1 decent driver, you might still end up losing the constructors. And because I mean, right at the moment, Red Bull are looking pretty comfortable in constructors. So, I mean, obviously, there's still a long way to go for the season. Things can change rapidly, but at least at the moment, I feel like it is better if Mercedes leave Bottas and take in well, we obviously want George. I don't think there's anyone else for that seat. So, yeah.
I agree with everything that you said, honestly. I mean, they haven't offered him a contract yet, right? If I'm remembering correctly. Yeah. So I think it's time to say goodbye, honestly.
Should be. I mean, they already opened talks with Hamilton, I think last month or something.
Yeah.
And no news on Bottas yet. So should be.
I mean, it's sad that I think I don't know which other team would take Bottas as well, because I think more or less all the other teams have drivers tied down, right? If I'm remembering correctly.
Most of them, I would say.
He might return to Williams if George.
I mean, actually, technically, if you think about it, even Hamilton's not tied down. He only has contract until the end of the year.
But we all know Hamilton is staying.
Unless he retires.
Yeah, unless he retires.
Unless he retires, but I don't think so. He said he's going to be doing it for as long as it makes him happy. And I wouldn't be calling a time of death on that anytime soon.
Yeah. And that's such a non-answer as well. As long as it makes me happy. What if he's not happy after like Spa? So
then he quits and Russell takes his spot.
To be fair, I think personally he wants to beat Schumacher's record. And he wants to get the 8th drivers' championship, and then I think after that I think he'll retire.
Most likely,
yeah.
Most likely, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we talked about how her team should have 2 good drivers, and there is one team that has two really good drivers, but they're not really driving at the same level. And well, the team I'm talking about is McLaren, Norris and Ricciardo, two
Yeah.
excellent drivers. But one has been, I would say, a lot better than the other this season. And
I mean, I would say, in fact, not just a lot better. I think Lando is probably the third best driver on the grid at the moment, behind Max and Lewis.
Yeah.
In terms of performance and just his results, I think he's the only driver this season to be in the points in every race so far.
Yes,
yeah.
Lando, yeah.
Yep.
And yeah, he's just been exceptional for McLaren. It's really, I don't know why Ricciardo can't get his feet in the McLaren. Like, I don't know, something's just not clicking right for him. But in fact, he had a pretty decent start to the race in Austria.
Yeah.
He gained up to, I think, 8 or something, and then
And then he just fell back. I think there was a power unit issue. He
yeah,
wasn't
he had an
getting
engine
power.
issue, I think. Some
Yeah.
engine issue for like a couple laps, which basically undone all his hard work which he had. I mean, we all know that right?
Austria is a pretty power sensitive circuit.
Yeah. So it's gonna affect you a lot, exactly.
Yeah, it is.
So I mean, I'm pretty sure at the end of the day, over time, I know Ricciardo is definitely going to be up there, but I just hope it's not too late, because Ferrari are actually pretty good. Both both Sainz and Leclerc, they're actually pretty on pace and consistency wise. They're pretty very close to each other if you look at it. The Ferraris, they might not have the outright package to be ahead of McLaren, I feel, at times, but at least as a team unit, they are in pace wise, they're at least up there. And I think right now the gap in the constructor is only like 12 points or something. 12 or
between Ferrari
14.
and McLaren. 12.
Yeah.
McLaren
Despite Ferrari.
McLaren are on 120 and Ferrari on 108.
Yeah. And this is despite that Ferrari did not score a single point in France.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, Ricciardo needs to back Lando. I mean, Lando's doing all the hard work right now, putting the team up there for the constructors. But if Ricciardo doesn't up his game, I mean, I'm sure he will. I've up like the most confidence in him. But if he doesn't, then McLaren have the risk of losing the third place to Ferrari in the constructors.
I think we said it in the first episode also. It all comes down to which one of the new drivers is more gets used to the machinery more quickly. So like I said, Sainz is he already has he got P2 in Monaco, so he's coming along nicely. But I still think he's underperforming a bit, but it's fine. I'll give him the first year at the new team excuse. But I think I still back Ferrari on this. I don't see.
What's the points difference between Charles and Carlos?
Let me check.
Do you have it with you right now?
Yeah, I do. Between
it's 8 points. Charles is 8 points ahead of Sainz.
Correct.
6 and 7.
That's not bad, And let's just see the gap between Ricciardo and Lando. I'm pretty sure that's a lot.
That's about 50, 52. 52
Oh my
points.
god. I mean, Charles has been. I mean, both Carlos and Charles are doing pretty good job.
Yeah.
Carlos, I would say. I mean, he's been really good. Like at least maybe in terms of practice and everything, he's ahead of Charles. I've seen him quite ahead most of the times. But maybe Charles just gets the extra bit of the car because of the experience he has in the Ferrari.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't really say he's underperforming. I mean, probably because you're coming to Ferrari, expectations are high to perform. But we all know Charles is the driver, like how Max is to Red Bull, Charles is to Ferrari. So
he's like
it's
the
going to be
talisman right now, I think.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to take quite a bit to beat Charles in the same machinery. So yeah.
While we're on the topic of Ferrari, Leclerc did win Driver of the Day after essentially ending Gasly's race.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of that?
And almost ending Raikkonen's race as well.
Yeah.
He got his front wing also, which is a bit
dodgy.
It is a bit dodgy because I think drivers like Leclerc, their mistakes get forgotten very easily by the fans because they are they're almost
popular drivers.
Yeah, they're almost infallible, and was it this race last time that Leclerc took out Vettel's rear wing?
I think it was Austria.
It's either Austria or Styria. It's one
Austria
of them.
last year, yes.
It was on turn 3. So even that doesn't get spoken about like a lot. So it in my opinion, it shouldn't have been the case. He definitely shouldn't have gotten driver of the day. Like you shouldn't get credit for fixing a situation that you messed up in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would say for me, he did not deserve for sure. He did good most parts. I mean, he was last at the end of the first lap and came back, finished seventh, I think.
Yeah.
Seventh, yeah.
Yes.
And he was ahead of Carlos, was he? I think so. Yeah, he was.
No. Sainz
Sainz
was
ahead.
yeah.
Oh, okay. But still, I mean, he caught up all the way from the back to be back practically where he started. I mean, it's a good effort, but he looked crappy. No, I wouldn't say crappy. A bit sketchy rather.
Yeah.
In terms of his overtaking. I mean, the lap one, I guess I could give him the benefit of doubt because cars are very close. Yeah, it's lap one. Cars are very close. You can give him benefit of doubt. But at least the Raikkonen's one was a bit too sketchy. Like I've been noticing like both the incidents in like the Gasly and Raikkonen's incident. Both of them, he's just misjudging when to cut back or cut in.
Yeah, cut in.
Like to the slipstream or cut out of like to go in front of the driver. He's just misjudging that movement. So I don't know, just a bit sketchy, but I mean, he had a good race after all. So maybe that's why he got driver of the day. But me personally, I voted George Russell for driver of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, he did.
I voted for Russell. I was
he did not finish the race, but
I think his performance throughout the weekend, throughout the weekend, it warranted driver of the day. Like some
it was phenomenal throughout the weekend.
Yeah, just some form of recognition, right? For having such a
it's not quite points, but it's better than nothing. But
absolutely
didn't get that either.
I mean, if not for Charles, I'll probably have given Max because Max drove an unbelievable race, no mistakes, just being in front of Lewis every lap, and in fact, extending that lead every lap. So
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of rumors that the driver of the day is just a popularity contest. So the most popular drivers always really win.
Yeah.
So it's
I
not
would say
really
it is to an extent.
To an extent, yeah.
I mean, doesn't yesterday's driver of the day just prove their point?
Yeah, exactly. That's why.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, but I would say a good week for Ferrari because both their cars got into points, good points in fact. Whereas for McLaren, only one of the car had points, and Ricciardo did not get points, right?
Ricciardo didn't. Yep. I think
Ricciardo didn't.
Did he finish 13th? Was it?
Yeah, 13.
He was.
Yeah, he was 13th. Yeah,
he was 13th. Yeah. So I guess that's that for the whole McLaren Ferrari thing for this week.
Mm-hmm.
And next up, I want to bring our attention to Aston Martin. And this time, Stroll outperforming Sebastian Vettel. Stroll finished P8, Vettel in P12.
Yeah.
So 8 and 12 is. Do you guys feel it's a good finish for Aston Martin, or is that maybe something that you would expect from them?
Given their goals before the season started, I think 8 and 12 is not good. But I don't know, man. Aston Martin are they're almost all over the place, right? Vettel is finishing what was it, P2 in Baku, and now he's 12th, and I don't understand. The team is very, very hit or miss. It's almost like the time where Maldonado was in Williams, and one race he's doing very badly, another one he's winning. I mean, he only really won one race, but I'm just saying it's hard to judge when they'll finish, where they'll finish. It's very I can't even analyze them. They seem like so. They're very hit or miss. They're very, very hit or miss.
I mean, at the moment, I would say that's probably a result which Aston Martin are probably expecting, at least one of their cars in points, because it's very competitive to have both the cars in the points for a team who is quite off the pace like Aston is. I mean, you said just now, their expectation at the start of the season were high, but I think immediately after the first 2-3 races, they got a good kick in the punch, as we like to say, about their performance. So they probably have a lot more realistic expectations now. So Yeah, I mean, the one team which I was really disappointed with, I'm sure we'll get to eventually, is a bit of Alpha Tauri. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Yuki got into the points. I'm really happy for him. But then I was just disappointed the way Gasly's race ended, because I think Gasly had really good pace throughout the
Yeah.
weekend,
Yep.
and he would probably have been anywhere between P5 to P7, I think, if he had completed the
Yeah.
race. So I think it's very major in terms of points opportunity lost for Alpha. Not Alpha. Why am I even talking? Alpha Tauri. Yeah, as Alpha.
AlphaTauri, yeah.
Yeah, it screws our brains sometimes with that very similar names. But yeah, I mean, Aston probably they need to bring a few upgrades. I think the one thing like impressed me a lot about Aston is that Stroll is actually doing really well, and even said like most of the races he's quite up there. Like he had a good run, like Monaco, and then the race after Monaco, Baku as well.
Yeah.
He got
Baku,
a podium and
That
everything.
was a very good finish.
Yeah, and then even Stroll's performing pretty reasonably well.
Yeah.
Like I think in terms of driver pairing, both are performing pretty good. It's just that sometimes with the cars nowadays pretty bunched up in terms of pace-wise, race pace-wise, it's just very hard to have both cars in the points all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the best way to put it is that they have machinery that can exploit any situation that moves in their favor. Just like what we saw in Baku and Monaco. But it's just that when everyone seems to be gunning for it, their machinery comes short. So in the case of it's good, but it's not good enough.
Yeah.
I guess that's the category that they fall in, which is not bad for a team's like first proper year. So
Exactly.
yeah, I think the only way is up for them. I see them doing quite well in the coming years, but right now you can't predict where they'll finish each race. Yep.
Yep. So I mean, this has been a really unpredictable season for Aston Martin from the start of the season for sure. Expected them to be a consistent top, and then they dropped out to mid 10 to 20s. Then now they're back in the fight for a top 10, which is nice to see. And we did talk about disappointment for AlphaTauri with the way Gasly's race ended. So do you guys think that maybe they should? Was there anything that they could have done better though, as a team? Was there anything AlphaTauri could have improved on for this weekend? Yeah.
That's a good question. I don't know. I think it comes down to, I think as a team they always do everything right. I rarely see them putting a foot wrong as a team. The thing that has actually been letting them down this season is their rookie driver Tsunoda, but he's in a rookie season and that's to be expected. I just feel it's sometimes Tsunoda is the one thing that's kind of clipping their heels, but I think apart from that, I don't see them doing anything wrong as a team, at least not that I remember. Yash, what do you think?
I mean, I would say Tsunoda has been a bit hit and miss. Some races has been really good, some races has been really poor. And I guess you could probably expect that from a rookie driver. I mean, he did a step up from, I believe, F2, right? Was it F2? Yeah, F2.
Yeah.
And and he came out really quickly as well. Like he only had one season in F2, I believe.
Yeah,
I can't remember exactly.
He moved up from F3 to F1 in a space of 3 years. So 1 year in F3, 1 year in F2, and then F1.
Yeah, so it's technically only 2 years, because this is rookie season. So he's not had any experience in being in this top flight. So I guess you could probably expect that from Yuki a bit. But I mean, eventually, I'm pretty sure over the course of the season, he will probably come more into life. And I wouldn't say he'll match Gasly because Gasly is just exceptional at the moment.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure he will at least match the drivers around who are fighting with AlphaTauri to fight for the last points position. Like I believe Alpine are fighting, like they're pretty similar pace. Alpine, Aston, and AlphaTauri.
Yeah. Yeah, just fighting for those lower top 10 positions, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yep. They're just fighting for the single-digit points, I guess, race by race.
Yeah.
Which is it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Every point counts a lot of money, man.
Yeah, that's true.
Of course.
Oh, Tarun is lagging.
And in Styrian, sorry.
Say your last line again. Yeah, you were lagging.
Well, Yash, you did mention. Am I still lagging?
No.
Okay. Yeah. So Yash, you did mention Alpine. So in the Styrian GP, they got a P9 and a P14 with Alonso finishing in the points, and of course Ocon with this pretty new contract extension, finishing P14. Is that where you see them finishing on a regular basis?
Yeah, probably. I do not feel personally that Alpine have the fastest. I wouldn't say fastest car to be in the points, in fact, because I feel that all the three, Aston and even Alpha Tauri, are faster, and you could probably even argue at times Alfa Romeo are faster than Alpine as well. But Alonso did a great job to get that car. Finally, he's trying to he's showing his true self of what Alonso is known for. So I mean, it's like a bit of hit and miss as well, like how we talked about Aston. But I certainly do not expect Alpine to get consistent points as I expect Aston to get consistent points.
Yeah.
But with Alonso in that car, in that driver's seat, you never know. Some drivers are just able to push that car a bit too far forward.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just disappointing because Ocon, like I said, just signed a new contract a few days ago.
Yeah.
And we probably thought, maybe Alpine probably wants Ocon to have a good race. Even Ocon himself would probably want to have a good race to celebrate his contract extension, but it just didn't quite kick off for him this race. So yeah, just disappointing in Ocon's side. I mean, for Alpine, honestly, will be happy with any points they get because I think everyone knows that their car is probably not that fast enough to be in points on regular basis.
Personally,
wasn't a great home race for. Yeah, it wasn't a great home race for Ocon either, and I think he would have come into this Styrian GP with hopes of a better finish, but in the end he did finish P14 again. So it wasn't great for him in that sense. But BK, you wanna finish up your thought?
My thought is mostly on Ocon getting the contract. Honestly, I am more of a Ocon doubter. I don't really see him as one of like the top talents in when you think about talented young drivers in on the grid right now. So what, they're about maybe 7 or 8. Mazepin obviously comes last, and then I think the one on top of that is Ocon. So I don't really rate him that much. I'm surprised because I thought Alpine, being a French team, I thought they would actually move to pry Gasly away from Alpha Tauri, so that they can have a French driver in a French in a French team. Ocon is also French, but I just feel like Gasly has the upper hand right now in terms of racing and form. And honestly, I kind of see Ocon as eventually just being this almost like a Hülkenberg, like just this midfield driver that never really challenges for the championship or something like that, but a reliable driver nonetheless. I'll give him that. Ocon is reliable.
I do agree with that. I feel he's suited to be in a car midfield car. I don't think he deserves a seat at a top team, like let's say Gasly. Gasly definitely deserves a seat at the top team, and hopefully that day comes soon for him. But yeah, I mean, he's a very reliable driver. He scores points on and off. He's quick on his day, and he doesn't make too many mistakes. Like, you hardly see him in the papers, with causing a crash or like even just losing it in qualifying or something like that, which, arguably a lot of top drivers still do. Like Charles crashes quite a few times here and there, even in practice sessions and stuff. So yeah, I mean, he's a very reliable driver, which is probably why Alpine signed him in the first place, like a contract extension, because they just want someone else in the seat to just be, respectable and just, carry the team forward. Whereas, with Alonso, he might, maybe say 1-2 years, then he might leave. You never know with Alonso, because He's a driver who's very moody, like
Yeah.
I like to say it.
Yeah.
He likes to change his feelings really quickly. So
Mm.
yeah, but I think it's very good for Alpine because they need stability going into the new regulations. So someone to work around, someone to work with, and I think Ocon is a good driver to be working with in that
Yeah.
regards.
And Ocon is represented by Toto Wolff, so we still can't discount that possibility in the future. He might be driving for Mercedes. You never know if in Formula One, man. So
Yeah.
yeah, if he goes to Mercedes and just starts
And,
winning races left, right, and center, I think anyone who comes back and watches this episode is gonna rip us apart. But
Is
right
George
now,
Russell's agent also Toto Wolff?
oh, I'm not sure about that.
I'm gonna Google that right now. I'm very
yeah,
curious.
Yeah. Actually, I don't even know where to find the information, but I'll try. Wait.
Yes, Yash. I mean, if you can find it, that's good.
Yeah.
But I think Alpine is starting to look for the future option in their Alonso replacement because Guan Yu
Yeah.
Zhou is going to be getting FP1 to himself in the next race. Yeah, so I guess they are just looking forward to the future with signing Ocon's contract extension for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They will have that someone who's experienced with the car, who's settled in, and is reliable to be their kind of the anchor for the ship that they can build their team around with the new regulations, I suppose.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, so we really have much else to talk about in Styrian GP. I know we did much about Alfa Romeo or Haas, but it's not much for me to say. Do you guys have anything to finish up?
Actually, I do. I think there are some new pit stop regulations. Well, they're looking to introduce some new pit stop regulations that will slow down pit stops. I don't know if you guys heard of it yet.
Yes.
But So I really don't know what that's about. But if you guys want to talk about it, I think we should talk about it.
I've not really read about regulations. Like, just anyone. I heard of it, but I just didn't find the time to actually read up and see what is it about.
Okay, so basically in pit stops, everything is supposed to be manual. Like it should be controlled by a human. It shouldn't be fully controlled by a machine. So, for example, you can't have a system where a sensors like detect the car being jacked up, and then once it's jacked down, the light turns green. So you can't have that. It should be, so the green light should be controlled by a driver, or at least not a driver, a mechanic.
One of the pit crews.
The
One of
pit crew, the
crews.
mechanic.
Yeah.
So
One of the pit crew, yes.
everything that happens in a pit stop should be a resultant of an action of a human being. So that's like the it's a bit vague because right now what the FIA are saying is that things are happening so fast that they believe that especially with teams like Red Bull with the sub 2 second pit stops, they believe that things are going too fast than is humanly possible, like faster than is humanly possible. So they are deciding to step in because they deem it as like unsafe.
Okay.
Which, to be fair, if pit stops have been unsafe for a long time. I mean, remember, I think Jos Verstappen's father, going up in flames while being refueled. I guess regulation changes in pit stops are necessary, but I don't understand this particular issue because if you guys remember, I think about 5 years ago, Raikkonen broke a mechanic's leg because he ran over the mechanic.
It was a bit slow.
Yeah, because in the Ferrari pit lane, the light turned green, even though the mechanic's leg was in the way. So I'm just surprised if you were not going to change it, then why are you changing it now? Which is like that's my only question. But I think the teams that perform the most, the teams that gain the most time in the pit lanes have the most to lose from this, because
absolutely,
with these new regulations, I think sub 2 second pit stops will be borderline impossible. I think I read online that they said a more realistic range would be for Red Bull, a more realistic range would be between like 2.5 to 2.7. So you can only imagine what the other teams would be. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on the issue.
I mean, I would say I probably get that in terms of safety standpoint, they're trying to improve. Although I do feel that in terms like F1 is known for its innovation and stuff, and if things are making you fast, then I don't see why you should kind of step in and try to pull the pin back on it.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I understand it as a safety standpoint because we are just waiting for that one incident to happen where something machine fails and humans get hurt. Then I guess it's better to step in before, better to be step in before than later on when the incident happens and then we have to step in. Because lives matter. It's a very dangerous sport, and so I get it in that standpoint of view. But I honestly feel like it might not make too much of a difference because I mean, yeah, for sure it makes a bit of difference, but then at the same time it'll force the teams to have very competent pit crews. Pit crews who are on point on their ball game, not trying to rely on systems, machines, and everything. So I guess it's good because ultimately we want to see more human intervention in the sport, where it's instead of the machine, is the man who makes much more of the difference. Especially in terms of cars, machine makes a lot of difference at the moment, and that's what they're trying to go by. Have an equal playing field come next year. Maybe not. Let's see if it works out, and then it's the driver who makes a difference, getting the most out of the car. So yeah, I guess only time will tell. If is it in effect? Is it going to be in effect? I don't
think
it's from Hungary.
Yeah, it's going to be after Hungary. Yeah, correct.
Okay. I mean, I mean, we shall see how much it affects because right now it's all speculations. But I don't think it'll affect too much in my opinion.
So the way that they are going to enforce it, right, is right now already on top of every, I guess, pit station, there's like a high-speed camera controlled by the FIA, and what they do is they basically rewatch pit stops in super slow motion to see if anyone is exceeding the required the set time, if anyone's doing it faster, so they can deem it unsafe. So what they're going to do is they're going to be more stringent on those times. So if supposedly you do something too fast, you can actually end up getting like maybe a 3-second or a 5-second penalty, which that's the part that sort of irks me, because how do you know if you have to go fast enough but not too fast? And when you're dealing in almost like hundreds of a second, it's almost impossible to slow yourself down. Like I have no idea how the pit crews are going to deal with it.
Right.
But I mean, all the best to them, I guess. We'll see.
Yeah, only time will tell.
Yeah.
But no idea how FIA is gonna police this.
Oh yeah, they'll just use the high speed cameras.
They'll use that. How do you know that a certain function is done automatically and not just by how do you know it's done by a human and not just automatically with the timer or something like that?
I'm guessing the FI will have some sensors in place to detect all this stuff.
Probably.
I think we are going back to Austria now, right? Isn't it? Back again.
So yeah, that's right. We're back in Austria. Going to be, I guess, just the same. So maybe BK, you want on who's going to take pole and who's going to win?
Oh, okay. Put on the spot, but okay. Let's see. Same track as Styrian GP. I think Max is going to take pole because I feel he can actually go faster, because in the Styrian GP I think he was 1 minute 3 seconds, 1 minute 3.8. I think that was his pole time. I think he can go faster, and I think he will take pole again. Race winners, I have to back Max again. Honestly, I don't.
Okay.
I think Mercedes will improve, but well, I wouldn't say hopefully, but I don't think they'll improve enough to overtake Red Bull.
I mean,
I just think it's going to be Styrian GP 2.0.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I would say a bit similar for me as well,
And a
because
similar.
I think the amount of gap Mercedes have to catch up to Red Bull in just one weekend, arguably 5 days, is just too much. So
Yeah.
I'm backing Max to be on pole and win the race again.
Mm.
But I'm hoping that in the midfield at least things spice up, because I
Yeah,
believe Ricardo might, I hope he gets his feet running and probably be more ahead than where he qualified. I think qualified 13th or 14th. So maybe I'm hoping at least in the midfield things might spice up, because the midfield is just so close that even a few minor tenths, things might make a difference. And yeah, touch wood, George has a good weekend,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Mm. And Gasly as well.
Yeah, Gasly as well, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's going to be more of the same. I would say Verstappen on pole and taking the win, and probably Perez on the podium instead of Bottas. Even though I said Bottas had a really good weekend, I think Perez has what it takes to beat him out next time round.
Yeah.
So, with that, we'll move on to our standard segment, and that of the week. So before we just wrap up for this episode, so starting off with L of the week, guys.
Ooh. L of the week.
I know Mercedes is going to be in the mix here.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like a non-typical answer. So
I would say Daniel Ricciardo.
yeah, I guess Ricardo. Yeah, Ricardo.
Ricardo and probably Alpha Tauri as well, because they missed quite a huge points for Gasly's retirement. So yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, they did get very unlucky. So
Yep.
I guess that counts as a L of the week. Yep. So double of the week next.
Red Bull, I think. Hard to give it to anyone else other than Red Bull or Max.
Red Bull?
Yep.
Yeah, Red Bull's just OP.
Yep.
At the moment.
I want to give an honorable for their P6, P7.
Okay. Honorable mention to Ferrari for their P6 and P7.
Not bad. Yeah, I guess you could say it was a good weekend, like good comeback after France. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take that as well. Yeah, that's fine. Anything that comes Ferrari's way, I'll just take it.
Oh, I forgot one more L of the week. It's George Russell.
Yeah, George Russell.
After the points.
Yeah, but yeah, feels bad.
Yeah.
But
sorry, George, but
it's beyond his control. So I guess
yeah.
So it's fine, I guess.
True.
I was ready to give him dub of the week for his qualifying, and then.
Oh yeah, for sure. Qualifying is the dub.
Oh yeah. So that's it for this episode on the Next Team F1 podcast, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out our Spotify page, and also follow us on Instagram at the Next Team SG. So I guess we'll see you after the Austrian GP, and till then, take care. See ya. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Ciao, guys.
She and I enjoyed some banter together.